Hello everyone, my name is Raghav Ankur, working as a National Manager with Foundation for Innovation and Collaborative Education. Today's webinar is on Intel IA32 architecture, its relevance and scope in today's context. Everyone is well aware of Intel CPUs in computing as well as desktop computing or laptop computing. Now the market has changed in a drastic way. Most of the industries, they have adopted Intel IA32 architectures in various segments like IoT, Intel gateway based solutions, home automation, automobiles. So today we will be giving you a brief about IA32 architecture and its relevance, and what are the various application segments that this IA32 architecture caters in today's context. Let's understand how this webinar is structured. So we are going to cover some of the basic topics like relevance of IA32 in today's context, what are the application, what are the IA32 powered CPUs available to work with. Similarly, we will introduce Intel Quark CPU, which is a very famous IA32 architecture. We will also talk about what libraries and other software components that Intel Quark CPU support. And in the last, we will be giving you a brief introduction about Intel Edison and what are its applications in IoT as well as wearable computing. So most of you are familiar with the 8086 instruction set, which is mostly a 16-bit 8086 processor platform. But when I say IA32, there is a very clear distinction. It is a 32-bit version of the same 8086 instruction set architecture. We generally call it as ISA architecture, instruction set architecture. And in 1985, it is first implemented in Intel 8386 processors or microprocessors. But as far as today's relevance of this IA32 architecture is concerned, it has various opportunities. The opportunities in a sense in the field of embedded systems, in the field of wearable computing, in the field of Internet of Things, we see the very ample opportunities available for IA32 architecture. Most of the wearable power devices or wearable devices, they are using IA32 architecture as far as their low power and wearable requirements are concerned. So there are two main processors or CPUs around IA32 architecture. One is Intel Quark and one is Intel Atom CPUs. And if you see these two, Intel Quark and Intel Atom CPUs, they are the main components of designing a intelligent systems. So we want to design an intelligent system. Intelligent system can be your wearable smartwatch, it can be your wearable any computing device, it can be of Internet of Things gateway based solutions. Similarly, by catering the low power CPUs, we have a support of Intel Quark SoCs, which are very low power, and IA32 architecture based CPUs has vast support of libraries and device drivers and operating system. So IA32 architecture relevance in today's context lies in effect that it has occupied various market segments. You name a market like wearable computing gadgets, you name Internet of Things applications, you call it as embedded systems in automobile or consumer electronics, you will find the relevance of IA32 architecture comes into play. And it has vast support of libraries and device drivers and operating system that makes it ideal suits for developers to work with the IA32 based CPUs. Now, if you see the Internet of Things opportunity and the role of Quark and atom-based CPUs or products from Intel, uh, first of all, in most of the IoT applications, you require a low-power solutions. Your architecture should be open, scalable, and reliable. You require a security features. You require a support of secure RTOSes, and also the architecture should help you to you can say design end-to-end IoT solutions. Because when I say end-to-end IoT solutions, you require devices that can easily connect with the gateway solutions. You require a servers or database engines that manage the data. We require a protection of the protection for your devices, because most of the devices, they are going to be internet powered. They are exposed to security flaws, and that is why the relevance of IA32 architecture is concerned here. So in this product line, we have Quark based CPUs, we have atom based CPUs, we have RTOSes like BX work support for all these IA32 architecture. Let's talk about what is Intel Quark CPU, and what are the technology main features of the Intel Quark CPU that makes it suitable for designing embedded application or IoT applications. So most of these embedded application, if you see the market segment, wearable is a uh, very important market segment as far as the low power processors are concerned. So Intel Quark CPU is a low power processor. It has a 32-bit technology running at 400 megahertz. So most of the embedded devices, whether the wearable segment we are talking about, or healthcare market segment we are talking about, or consumer electronics we are talking about, uh, they run at a very lower speed. So 400 megahertz is very ideal to design embedded applications. Similarly, the CPU core or SoC, when we talk about this Intel Quark SoC X1000, this Intel Quark SoC, it has to, you can say, uh, it first employ the open architecture. It should support the various standard interfaces that all the embedded ecosystem supports, like I2C buses. It should support SPI buses, UART buses. Okay, so this Intel Quark CPU itself is a is target towards that market segment, and it is the first product in the market with the um, ISA architecture. So you can say Intel Quark SoC, which is X1000 that is shown here. Um, uh, it is a 32-bit architecture, and it has a low power processor capability. It has a 32-bit technology which is running at 400 megahertz, and it gives you a various standard industry interfaces through the very famous AMBA bus interface. So this is how the complete layout looks like. That we have a CPU core, um, we have AMBA fabric that supports various you can say interfaces like UART, serial interfaces, SPI, I2C, and normal GPI operations it supports. Another, there is a legacy bridge that is actually used to you can say bridge the data between ROM, SPI interface, RTC, GPIO, and we have a dedicated PCI Express slot, and which is a parallel bus that we generally use for integrating a Wi-Fi facility with Intel Quark based CPUs. It has a DDR3 RAM controller, memory controller. Similarly, it has a ESRAM. It has a dedicated clock, flexible clock system. So let's summarize what it has total. When we talk about IoT application, we definitely require a support of Ethernet. Um, Getting a data from you can say from the one device to the another device wirelessly or by a Ethernet medium, it's a very important. And this it's Intel Quark, it supports a 10 to 100 Mbps data transfer rates. It has a complete you can say IEEE 802.3x standard, and it has a full duplex operation. Similarly, it has a support of I2C master USB 2 host controller. It has with a speed of 480 Mbps, full speed 12 Mbps, and low speed 1.5 Mbps operations. There is a dedicated SPI master controller, so we have a 2 SPI master controller, and that has a programmable baud rate also. So we have a dedicated UART that supported a programmable baud rate. Baud rates ranges from 300 to 2764800, and we have a capability of a DMA. So most of the time, if CPU is busy, DMA can take a charge on that. And also we have a GPIO features. I2C masters controller is there. So this is in a nutshell what the Intel Quark CPU is. So let me introduce Intel Quark SoC based development board. So Galileo is a microcontroller which is based upon the Intel Quark SoC X1000 application processor. And if you look at the specification of this Intel Galileo and Intel Quark in a unison, the processor has 400 MHz 32-bit Pentium instruction set architecture compatible processor we have. Similarly, architecture is concerned, the IA32 architecture is concerned, it has a single threaded, single core and constant speed. Similarly, it is compatible with all the embedded OS. It has a storage of 8 MB, SPI flash is there. Similarly, DRAM is there, which is approximately equal to 256 MB. Similarly, 512 KB SRAM is there, and it supports a 32 GB memory card expansion through micro SD interface. It has various ports available. For Wi-Fi connectivity, we have a PCI Express slot. For Ethernet, port is available which supports 100 Mbps data transfer rate. We have a micro SD slot, RS232-bit 2 port is there. USB host port and USB client port is also available. As far as power is concerned, it is operated with a 5-volt input. Now Galileo is basically Intel Quark SoC X1000 application processor based development board. But to make it more market relevant or to help students design projects, we have a you can say we have given a add-on feature to Intel Galileo because it is Arduino 1.0 pin out structure. It has a Arduino 1.0 pin out structure that makes it compatible with Arduino library. So those who want to migrate from Arduino based APIs, they can easily migrate to Intel Galileo based applications. They can design Intel Galileo based projects. They can use the APIs provided by Intel Galileo. And this is how this development board will help in designing projects. Uh, it has a various, you can say, to support a IoT application, we have a mini PCI Express slot. It has a 100 Mbps Ethernet port. So there are a lot of flexibility and programming API and libraries this board also supports. So let's talk about what is the relevance of Intel Galileo in today's market. Now, as I told you, this is a Arduino platform, and it's a which is very quick for prototyping, and this is how you can reduce the time to market of your project. Similarly, if you really want, if you are a very serious developer, you have a support of RTOS, you have a support of full IA32 processor available on your to work. Similarly, Quark is meant for deeply embedded applications. It has a ultra low power consumption feature. It is a precursor to the developing IoT applications. So if you know a Intel Quark SoC or Intel Galileo development board based upon SoC, Intel Quark SoC, you can really design IoT applications. Another important thing is IA32 architecture, and Intel Galileo is a IA32 architecture, and hence it supports a large number of libraries drivers for various applications and support. Then another thing is it is very highly portable platform, and it's now a open source also. So it's a open platform, Intel Galileo, that has a high level of portability. So it means that we support various libraries like uh, Arduino API, or you can develop the code in Python, JavaScripting, C, C++, embedded C, and Arduino of course. So language wise it support multiple languages also. So let's understand what support is available for Intel Quark CPU as far as software is concerned. And if you see Intel Galileo board, it generally comes with a bootloader. Okay, so UEFI bootloader we generally prefer. Then it support a Yocto platform Linux that has all the support like GPIO, I2C master, PWM, ADC, RTC, UART, all the supports are available on board. And it hosts some core libraries that help in designing Arduino specific applications. So this is how Intel Galileo is well supported by Arduino API. If you want to develop uh, uh, in another language, so we do require a different library supports. So Arduino API it always support, but it support a libmra library which is a binding to other languages. Like you can design uh, either using Python, you can design application using C and C++, or JavaScripting by using this libmra library. And similarly it is well supported by now Intel XDK and Intel System Studio. Intel XDK is a mail tool or main development platform or development environment where you can design your application in JavaScripting. And similarly Intel System Studio is also now the support for Intel Quark is also available for Intel System Studio. As far as firmware and software support is concerned, if you see you have access to the full Linux. So as far as OS is concerned, Yocto 1.4 or Poky Linux it support. Okay, it also support Debian Linux. Okay, but we prefer to use a Yocto Linux, and for some of the reasons, like it has a support for Arduino sketches, it has a support for various languages, it has a support for Wi-Fi, it has a support of you can say a libmra library. So it's a complete package as far as this Intel Quark CPU software components are concerned. Now let's introduce Intel Edison, which is a very famous for IoT and wearable platforms. So as I already told you about Intel Quark SoC, Intel Galileo is a development board around Intel Quark SoC. Now here we have a dual core. So this Intel Edison is a platform that has a dual core capability. One core is an Intel Atom processor, another core is an Intel Quark CPU in this. So which generally runs at 500 megahertz. And another, it has a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capability. It supports a 4 GB memory card interface. Okay, and it have a Intel Edison 17-pin connector that will help you to connect with any breakout boards. So you require a 17-pin connector breakout board to work with Intel Edison platform. And its market segment is IoT and wearable devices, because most of the IoT application we require a device that that has a smaller form factor, as well as that has a inbuilt Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capabilities. So if you really want to understand Intel Edison, so you should understand about the products that Intel Edison based, what are the wearable devices we have already developed, or uh, entrepreneurs has already developed them. So this is a one robot, and this robot uh, it can monitor air quality, it can act as a home security guard, it can you can say it can sense you how you feel and tells you a jokes, or act as a remote eyes and ears when you are away from the home. So it is Intel Edison based uh, you can say gadget. Similarly, Intel along with the rest devices, it has developed a smart baby suit that will send updates to the smartphone of the baby's temperature, movement, body position, respiratory patterns, and all those things. All those notification of the baby you will get on a smartphone. Similarly, we have a drone here which was actually done by the 3D robotics. Okay, and you can use it for selfie while you are biking or skiing or performing other adventure activities. There is another wearable device which is a Intel powered, and that has a inbuilt Wi-Fi and Bluetooth wireless technology inbuilt. So these are some of the gadgets which are powered by Intel Edison. Okay, if you have any question about this webinar topic, you can send them to mentor@fice.in. Thanks for viewing this webinar. Have a nice day.